Hey y'all, welcome back to Mama's Meals. It's been a while. So Thanksgiving's coming up and I thought I would show y'all how to do my mama's Thanksgiving cornbread dressing. I'm gonna go ahead and make it today and freeze it. It freezes really well, so you can do this in advance for Thanksgiving. Start out, I've already made my cornbread way in advance. You can kind of let it start drying. I'm doubling my recipe. So the recipe just calls for one recipe of cornbread. And then, so I've got that, I'm coming back to that. We take about 2 cups, this is more like 3, but I like celery, so I'm gonna take so now I'm gonna take, for the doubled recipe, is 2 cups of celery. So one recipe is 1 cup of celery. This is probably more like 3 cups, but I just chopped what I had, and we like celery, so we're doing it. And then, same thing, about 2 cups of onions. That's probably a little bit less. I may not even use them all because they kind of get to our stomach. And that's a doubled recipe, so more like between a half a cup and a cup of onions. So I've just covered the onions and the celery, just, with the water. I'm gonna dump in 4 tablespoons of butter. Again, that's a double recipe. And I'm gonna turn it on low, and I'm just gonna cook it till the vegetables are tender. Now, if this were Thanksgiving Day and we were doing this and we had a turkey, we'd be making a stock. We're gonna fry our turkey this year, and so what I did, I baked a chicken earlier, last week, and so I grabbed some turkey innards, the neck and the livers and all that stuff, and I put them in a pot, and I added onion and celery. Don't forget, use the celery leaves too, because that adds a lot of good flavor. And salt and pepper, and I made this stock and I froze it, so we're gonna use it later, but I'd be making that too if it were Thanksgiving Day and I had some turkey innards. And then, and just in case, I might have a little chicken broth on hand too. Okay, so to make the cornbread, I just used cornmeal mix, and all you do is follow the directions on the back. It says to add sugar. Don't add the sugar. I think it says optional, but don't do it. So I've got my 2 recipes of cornbread because I doubled it. And the beauty is I did it earlier, so I've got it in these baggies, and I can just start crumbling. See, you can tell it's kind of old and stale. You want it that way because it'll soak up all the juices. So I'm gonna crumble both of these. Okay, so see how it's all crumbled? I decided, since I'm doubling it, I really am gonna need 2 bowls because it's a lot that goes in a bowl. This is the fun part. You get to use your hands in a little bit. So this is all crumbled. I'm gonna go ahead and separate it out. Next, you take 6 to 7 slices of any kind of bread you have, whatever. I have old bread. So as long as there's no mold on it, use the crust too. This is our old bread. I've got an old baguette too. So I'll get 6 to 7 slices per bowl to go in with the cornbread, and I'm just gonna tear it up. I'll show you in a little bit. And then 3 eggs per bowl. Okay, so now I'm gonna whisk up 3 eggs per bowl. You see my vegetables are doing well over here. I'm gonna turn it down. They don't need to be boiling for sure. But they're getting, see how they're pretty tender. But I need to do it just a little bit longer. You don't want them crunchy. The last thing you want is crunchy celery and onions. So I'm turning it down because we just wanna cook them. Now I'm gonna put 3 eggs per recipe. And I'm just gonna dump it in with the breads. You see what the breads look like? They're a combination of cornbread and bread. So I went ahead and split up the vegetables, the celery and the onion, so I could make it approximately even. It's a little more than 2 cups each. And we're just gonna see if it's enough liquid. I'm trying to let it cool a little bit because I don't wanna cook the egg immediately. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the broth in first, the stock. It's okay if you don't make your own stock. Just buy a brand that you like, chicken stock. And I'm gonna just kind of eyeball the half. We're just gonna get the breads wet. Now I'm gonna go with my onion. This is what gives it the good flavor. It's the good celery and onion flavor. Ah, that's gonna be great. And you can, you don't have to do the exact measurements, y'all. It just doesn't matter. Just get some celery and onion in there. But you do need to make sure the liquids, like I probably put more bread in there than I said I was going to. I stopped counting. But you want to make sure you have enough cornbread, of course, so that it tastes like cornbread. That's going to need more liquid. That's not juicy enough. And then we'll top it off with the stock. And then if you don't have stock that you made and you get broth or homemade stock, add a pat of butter, or not a pat, add a tablespoon of butter. I'm just gonna pour some in it. We want it wet. And then I prepared 2 Pyrex dishes. Just what are they, 9 by 12? This is looking good. I'm gonna freeze it like this. So I'm not gonna cook it before I freeze it. I freeze it wet like this. And then I'll cook it on Thanksgiving Day. I did salt the celery and onions when they were on the stove with the butter and the water. But I'm gonna salt this dressing. See the consistency? This is how you want it. So it's wet. And then, but I'm gonna salt and pepper, and then I'm gonna put it in my Pyrex dishes, freeze it on Thanksgiving Day. I'm gonna cook it at 350 for 30 to 45 minutes. Get in there and stir it every now and then. Don't cover it. And just check it where it's kind of crunchy on top, or not too crunchy, just however you like it, the consistency you want. And you'll have a happy Thanksgiving.